Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and it's time for another recap of our favorite ratchet show, honey, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Make sure you get your teacups ready and let's go ahead and get this recap started. How you doing? So in the opening scene, we have Little Fizz, and Little Fizz is going shopping with Moniece. They're going shopping for Cameron's school clothes. Neither one of them can believe that their baby is 5 years old and he's about to start kindergarten. It's like the years have just flown by, and I remember being in that same position with me and my ex-husband when my son was starting kindergarten and just being overwhelmed, and now he's in high school. I'm like, I can't believe how fast the years fly by, and especially when you're like a teen parent, you know, or a really young parent like Moniece and Little Fizz. It's crazy to see, like, dang, you know, I was young having this kid and, you know, trying to raise him, and now he's going into school. But they're going to be even more tripped out when they go shopping for little Cameron's high school clothes and he's wearing the same size as Little Fizz, if not bigger. Like, that tripped me out this year. So anyways, they're talking, and Little Fizz decides to ask Moniece to be in his music video. Why? Because Miss Nikki Baby turned his ass down. So he's figuring, let me ask Moniece. She's my second option. Little Miss Moniece doesn't know this, but she decides to say yes to being in Little Fizz's music video. And Moniece decides to ask Fizz about his dating life and, you know, his appetizers and how all that's going. And Little Fizz basically comes out and tells Monique that he is seeing Miss Nikki Baby and that, you know, he wants to take it to the next level with her and things like that. So you can tell Moniece is kind of feeling a certain type of way, and she even makes a comment about Little Fizz going towards low-hanging fruit. And when she said that, I fell the hell out. So you can tell, you know, there's a little bit of conflict there with him dating Miss Nikki Baby, but Moniece is trying to be the bigger person. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Ray J, and Ray J is so annoying on this show. Ray J, I swear he's like trying to do anything to create a storyline. So he decides to go see Max to go get some advice. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, you're going to Max to go get some advice on a relationship when his relationship with Brandy is shaky. He refused for quite a while to not wear his wedding ring, but you want to go get advice from him. So Ray J saying that he's a changed man, he loves Princess and he wants to be back with her, and that he's done cheating 95% of the way. He's only cheating 5% of the time. And I'm sitting here like, really, Ray J? Really? That's how you plan on winning her back? How about you keep your dick in your pants and save it for Princess only? Is that too hard to ask for? I don't understand why so many guys feel like they have to cheat. Well, anyways, Max is saying that he feels like the reason why Princess and Ray J are always into it is because they truly have a lot of love for each other. So Max wants Ray J to work it out with Princess by any means necessary. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we had Tia Marie and Moniece is getting ready for her Little Fizz video. She's going to go get some shopping therapy, some shopping relief. And so she decides to confide in Tia Marie, and she's saying that her and Little Fizz are getting along really well and that she's starting to catch feelings for him. And Tia Marie is just shocked, honey. She had to clutch her invisible damn pearls. Like, what? You and Little Fizz? Well, what about Richie D? You know what I'm saying? Because let's not forget, just a few weeks ago, you know, she was skinning and grinning about Richie and how he was putting the D on her and everything else. And now she's catching feelings again for her baby's father. So Tia Marie is really shocked. You know, Moniece is just saying, like, you know, she doesn't know where these feelings are coming from, but she's really happy that her and Little Fizz are getting along better and that they're able to do the co-parenting thing without a bunch of arguments and going back and forth. Tia Marie definitely thinks that she's crazy, but being that Moniece is her friend, she definitely plans on having her back. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Wide Mouth Brandy, and we get a chance to meet her sister Amber. And Amber's a beautiful girl, and unfortunately for her, she's suffering from MS, which is multiple sclerosis. And Brandy, to me, was being so overdramatic in this scene and just talking and constantly getting up and hugging her. You know, and I don't feel like this girl just got MS. I feel like this is something that she's had for a while, and they're just trying to import this, and they're trying to put this in the storyline, being that, you know, they don't really have a storyline. But I'm glad they were able to shed light on this disease. What I liked about this moment was when the grandmother was there, and the grandmother was like, I don't want that. I fell the hell out. I'm like, I don't blame you, grandmother. I don't think anybody wants MS. You know what I'm saying? It was really cool to see their family dynamic. And it's funny that on this show, there's so many Asian women. A lot of people are considering these girls black, but to me, April, Brandy, Princess, these women look full Asian to me. You know, they might have a little bit darker skin tones, but their features are definitely, you know, Asian features. And I remember I talked to one of my subscribers on Instagram about this because she had a black and South Korean baby, and her baby was adorable. And I was telling her that I feel like Asian people's genes are just as strong, if not stronger, than black genes. Because whenever I see people who have black and Asian kids, their kids tend to look Asian. They have the hair texture, the eyes. Like, Asian people have really, really strong genes. You know, a lot of these girls, if you didn't know they had a black parent, a lot of them look full Asian. You know, when I looked at Brandy and her mom, they look just alike. When I looked at April's mom when she came to visit, April looks just like her mom as well. So Asian people to me tend to have really strong genes, and these girls are all really beautiful, you know, exotical looking. I just find of funny that they're all put in the black category. And I always wondered to myself, do Asian women watch these shows and see themselves in any of these girls, or do they consider them just black, even though every time we see their family dynamic, we see their Asian mothers in the picture? I don't know. That's just some food for thought. Anyways, moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Miles and Amber. And basically, I don't give a shit about this scene. Fab Ab is talking about how she told Zoe that Miles is gay, and Miles is saying he got his ass whooped by his nephew for coming out the closet, and the same old tired, boring ass storyline. And I just sat there sipping tea and not giving a shit. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have little Fizz and Moniece, and it's finally the big day. They're getting ready to shoot the video. Miss Moniece with her little itty bitty self. She looks gorgeous in all black, and she's doing her thing. And you can see a lot of chemistry there between little Fizz and Moniece, and they look really good together. And while they're dancing and talking, and he's pretending to rub this bootleg ass lotion on her, Moniece starts to catch even more feelings. So after they get done shooting, Moniece decides to basically tell little Fizz what she's going through and what she's feeling. She's saying that she really regrets letting him go. And she keeps thinking about the what if she would have stayed with him. And, you know, she just feels like her feelings are getting involved. And little Fizz is looking at her like, bitch, I'm cool. I let your ass go for a reason now, okay? Do I need to remind you? Your ass is crazy as cat shit. So little Fizz is just looking like, what? You know, it's going in one ear and out the other. He's not trying to hear that shit at all, you know. But it's cool to see Moniece, you know, being honest about her feelings. But I still find Moniece batshit crazy, because just a few days ago, you was head over heels over Rich, and now you back in love with your baby's daddy. I just feel like Moniece is one of those girls. She is starved for attention and love. She did not receive this love growing up, obviously. She's looking for it in all the wrong places. She thought having a baby by little Fizz would be the love that she was missing. You know, she thought being a mother would be the love that she was missing, and she's obviously not that attached to her child. And now she's looking at Broke Pennies as a father figure to love her, and that relationship is definitely going sideways as well. She's mistaking compassionate love for romantic love. You know, and that's what she needs to sort out. Moniece really needs to find herself, love herself as a person and as a mother before anybody else will love her. If she's not loving herself, she's not going to find it no matter how hard she looks. So then Moniece leaves the scene. She ends up leaving, and as she's leaving, Miss Nikki Baby comes, and she claims that she's there to support little Fizz. And little Fizz is like, well, yeah, you were supposed to be in the music video. Miss Nikki Baby's like, nigga, please. You are not Jay-Z. You are not T.I. You are not Kanye. You was not going to have me in this low-budget ass video. But she ends up playing it off, and she's like, well, you know, I'm busy, and I have the fashion show. But, you know, let's not go there. I want to just come and show you some support after the fact. So, you know, while they're talking, little Fizz decides to be messy and tell Miss Nikki Baby what Moniece told him. Now, like I told y'all in the last week's episode when I did my recap, little Fizz and Miss Nikki Baby remind me of two homies. They remind me like two homegirls always gossiping and running their mouth. I don't see a relationship connection with these two. I feel like they're just using each other for a storyline. I don't see any type of romantic anything when I look at these two. All they do is gossip and run their mouth. And I don't understand why little Fizz would think it was okay to take Moniece's intimate moment, her being honest and laying her feelings on the line, to turn around and share that with Miss Nikki Baby was all the way foul. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Ray J and Princess, and once again, Ray J is popping up to her house. Now, my thing is, if they're not talking and Princess wants to move on, how the hell does Ray J know where you live? You know, so Princess is full of shit. So Ray J comes over. She claims that she's busy sewing together her swimsuit line and trying to get stuff together, and Ray J's interrupting her. And Ray J's not trying to hear it. He's telling Princess that he wants to be with her. He misses her, and he wants Princess to come back home. And Princess saying that she can't do that. You know, she's still trying to find herself. Then she proceeds to talk about how she went down to Texas and she got a chance to see her dad and blah, blah, blah. She starts breaking down crying. Ray J starts hugging her and kissing on her. Then Princess breaks down and tells Ray J that she does not want him to come to her show, and that she wants Ray J to basically distance himself from her because she needs to find herself and she needs to make a way for herself in this industry. So Ray J is taken aback, and he's kind of upset that he's not allowed to go to her fashion show. But he says that he understands and that he'll give her the space that she needs. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, it's the big day of the fashion show, and Hazel E's running around like a little busybody, and she's, you know, giving orders, and she's getting the models prepped and getting them ready. And then all of a sudden, she gets a text message from Tiara. I don't know what the hell Tiara said, but all of a sudden, Miss Hazel E was not about that life, honey, because she packed up her shit and got the fuck up out of Dodge. Now, Milan was pissed off. Milan was trying to get Hazel to stay and would say, you know, why are you leaving? Why you letting Tiara Marie, you know, get rid of you? You know, why are you leaving? This is your show that you put together. But Hazel E claims that she wants no parts of this, and, you know, Tiara's messy and she doesn't want to be bothered, so she ends up skipping out the fashion show. Mulan goes back to tell Miss Nikki Baby and Princess what happened, and they're all pissed off at Hazel for leaving. So now it's the fashion show moment. And when I tell you, I was really disappointed. It was just so much hype. I've been to a lot of fashion shows out here in LA. I love fashion shows. I've been to everything from smaller ones to huge fashion shows that LA Fashion Week has thrown. And this was just some reality TV bullshit, okay? First of all, the swimsuit line and the lingerie line to me were tacky. Second of all, you couldn't even tell the difference between the swimsuit line and the lingerie line. Miss Nikki Baby had some swimsuit pieces or swimsuit looking pieces in her line, and Princess's swimsuit line looked more like lingerie. And then there were even pieces that had full skirts. I'm like, that looks like something you would wear to a nightclub, not to the beach. So I was really disappointed in their line. And then Mulan's line just looked like some damn dominatrix type shit, like a bunch of dudes out there in Hanes underwear. So I wasn't really feeling their fashion. And then what was so crazy is that Miss Tia Marie busted up in the fashion show with her models and her blazer line looking like some damn fembots, in the word of Miss Nikki Baby, and she shut it down. And when I tell you, I was really pleasantly surprised. Her pieces were a lot more on point than the other pieces. A lot of them blazers were really nice. I'm like, okay, bitch, I could wear that with some heels and some little booty shorts. How you doing? What do I order? So her blazer line was definitely cute. I will get props when props are due, but I'm not gonna run and go buy anything from Tia Marie. Now, I would have loved it more if Tia Marie would have came in, walked her models through, shut down shop, and then dropped the mic like a boss bitch. But instead, she decided to pick up the microphone and start going back and forth with Princess, and it just made the whole fashion show look tacky. I think when she came in, granted it was staged, it looked a lot better with her having her models walk through and then go out the door, as opposed, like I said, to, you know, going back and forth on the microphone. And Princess, to me, just needs to calm the fuck down. It seems like she likes to run her mouth a lot, and I don't understand why her and Mulan were so upset when they were the additions to the show. This was Tia Marie's thing. Tia Marie started this blazer line and this whole fashion show and decided to invite Miss Nikki Baby. So if anything, you guys are writing off of what Tia Marie's idea was. So how are y'all mad that she came through with her fashions? This was her shit from jump before Hazel E even got involved. I didn't understand where all the shade from Mulan and Princess was coming from when this had nothing to do with them originally. Moving on to the next scene. So in the last and final scene, Miss Nikki Baby decided to have a come to Jesus meeting, in the words of Tia Marie. And when I tell you, this meeting was a straight up trip. So Tia Marie gets there and she decides to bring Moniece with her because she did not want this to be a whole 4-on-1 person, because it seems like they all like to jump on Tia Marie and not give her a word in edgewise. So Tia Marie comes and her and Miss Nikki Baby are trying to talk about the situation. Then Princess and Mulan walk in. And, you know, Tia Marie's basically apologizing for, you know, ambushing their fashion show. But I didn't really understand what she was apologizing for when technically this was Tia Marie's show. These two other people were invited by Hazel E. You know, so Tia Marie didn't owe Mulan or Princess anything. So Moniece decides to ask Princess a question, and Moniece is saying, if your homegirl decided to ask your arch nemesis to come be involved in your fashion show, wouldn't you feel some type of way? Princess then starts cussing at Moniece and going off and calling her all types of bitches. Moniece is a trip. She would never raise her voice. She just talks in the same monotone voice, but then she will get up and pop off quick, fast, and in a damn hurry. So Princess decides to show why she's on this show, because she's tacky as hell. So she grabs a drink and she starts flinging at Moniece, and Moniece throws the drink back at her, and Moniece jumps up to go try and fight Princess, and then security jumps in, and Princess is saying, you know what, you need to go back to the dumpster, you dusty bitch, wherever the fuck you came from. And she's just running her mouth and talking all this shit. I'm sitting here like, if it was not for Tia Marie, you would not even have a storyline, because nobody's checking for you and Ray J on this show, period, point blank. So the whole situation is a mess. I cannot wait to see next week's episode. It looks like Moniece is about to whip the shit out of Miss Nikki Baby. So tune in next week to watch my recap. Make sure you guys like, rate, comment, and share my videos. So go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite part from this week's episode was. Talk to you guys later. Deuces. Hey you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.